Let's continue with our discussion of The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. Today is the fifth and final part of our interpretation. This session's theme is physical wealth and financial wealth. Let me start with a side note. Although this book was published this year, the ideas in it are not particularly new. Many are topics we've already discussed on our channel, proof that the field of personal development is becoming a fairly mature body of knowledge. Take health management, for example. In recent years, it's no longer a battlefield of conflicting opinions, where one expert says one thing and another says the opposite. Scientists have already reached a large degree of consensus. Pick up almost any mainstream book on health today, and the advice is more or less the same. We are close to having a unified theory of personal growth. Yet strangely, formal education doesn't teach any of this. Ideally, shouldn't children learn social skills in primary school, time management in middle school, ambition and vision in high school, and financial literacy and fitness in college? As human beings, shouldn't we each be handed a life strategy guide at birth? Shouldn't we clarify these fundamental issues before diving into specialized knowledge? These were, in fact, the core contents of aristocratic education in the past. Think about Confucius. When he ran his private school, what he taught was essentially how to live a good life. It was personal success education. Before the civil service exams took over in China, the focus was on self-cultivation, family governance, ruling the state, and bringing peace to the world. It was abstract but fundamental knowledge, built on the idea that a gentleman is not a tool. Similarly, the elite schools of ancient Greece and Rome taught the liberal arts, covering philosophy, values, and worldview. If your family held a title, managed an estate, and supported many people, your decisions, leadership, and character had enormous impact on the community. How could you not study these things seriously? But in modern times, few people reflect on them. Most people today are trained as tools. Institutional education cares mainly about exam performance. It piles on courses, designs endless tests, issues a diploma, and that's it. Most universities today don't even care whether the skills they teach will help you find a job. The reality is, the system will not take responsibility for you. Each individual must take responsibility for themselves. Seen this way, a book like The 5 Types of Wealth advocates a kind of individualism. Don't misunderstand. Individualism doesn't mean selfishness. It means sovereignty, independence, and self-awareness. You are not anyone's appendage. You are not a tool of any organization. You are not a cog in a machine or a drop in the ocean. You stand here upright and unapologetic, showing your uniqueness. You have the right not only to survive, but also to develop, to thrive, to act autonomously, to speak out, and to change the world. You absolutely can. And absolutely should. Take charge of your time, social, mental, physical, and finances. I believe this is the most precious feature of modern society. A person is always an end, never a means. We've already discussed Peter Attia's Outlive and Casey Means's Good Energy. So you already know the principles of managing physical health. Bloom's book largely cites Attia's work, but this is a good chance to restate some fundamentals. The core principle is the 80-20 rule. Get the basics right, and your health will already be in good shape. Further gains require disproportionately more effort, with diminishing returns. It's not that you shouldn't spend time on fitness, but that you must first nail the fundamentals. If you don't exercise at all and spend all your time obsessing over supplements, you're missing the point. Bloom identifies 3 pillars of physical wealth: exercise, nutrition, and recovery. Exercise has 3 categories. Cardio. The foundation is Zone 2 aerobic training, like brisk walking or jogging. If you do only one thing for your health, let it be this: 30 minutes a day, at least 150 minutes per week. On top of this, add some higher intensity anaerobic exercise like sprints, cycling, or rowing. Strength training. This is to prevent muscle loss, which accelerates in middle age and directly impacts physical function. Once or twice a week, add weights, push-ups, squats, or dumbbell work. Flexibility training. To maintain coordination and prevent falls. Simple balance work, yoga, or Pilates, ideally 2 or 3 times a week. Nutrition boils down to eating fewer processed foods and more whole, natural foods. Supplements can help, but the most useful ones are fish oil and creatine. Recovery means sleep. 7 to 8 hours of quality rest in a dark, quiet, cool environment. Daylight exposure, especially in the morning, also supports good recovery. There isn't much new to say about exercise itself, but there is one powerful psychological effect. Exercise can transform a person. Bloom tells the story of Dan, a man with a low-paying, meaningless job, invisible among friends and family, who had spiraled into self-neglect, so much so that he couldn't look at himself in the mirror. By chance, he got a gym membership. After just 1 month of training, his mindset completely changed. Dan said that waking up to sore muscles after a workout made him feel oddly happy, because it was tangible proof of progress. Exercise never betrays you. The effort you put in directly yields results. That gave him a new sense of control over his life. From there, Dan expanded his quest for control into nutrition, lifestyle, and even productivity. He had, in essence, rebooted his operating system. And of course, fitness has visible rewards too. Better physique, more energy. That sense of vitality is far more fulfilling than money. Now, about money. Finance can be simple or complicated. It depends on how much you think it's worth your time. Today, many standardized tools exist. You can do fairly well with minimal effort, and even with maximum effort, you may not outperform them. So I honestly don't understand why personal finance is such a hot topic. Most people don't have that much money to manage in the first place. A few $100,000, maybe $1 million in savings. How much extra return can you really squeeze out of it? Wouldn't your time and energy be better spent elsewhere? Bloom presents a chart with a key insight. Financial strategies must be judged not only by return, but also by hassle factor. For example, the simplest and most stable option is bonds or bond funds. 2 to 3% annual return, no stress. Stocks, via index funds like the S&P 500, offer about 5 to 6% long-term annual returns, also with minimal hassle. Stock picking may yield 7% if you're exceptionally skilled, but very few can beat the index consistently. That extra 1% isn't worth the anxiety for most people. Real estate can generate 8 to 9% returns with lower risk, but it's hassle-heavy. Tenants, repairs, taxes. Some people enjoy it. I have a friend who manages 30 rental properties. At that scale, it makes sense. Higher returns require higher hassle, like starting your own business. At that point, you might as well focus on creating income directly. Bloom's model divides financial wealth into 3 pillars: income generation, expense management, and long-term investing. In other words, income expenses equals investable capital. Expense management is key. In China, people's common mistake is overinvesting. In the US, the common mistake is overspending, also called lifestyle inflation. The moment income rises, people blow it on vacations, cars, or houses, leaving nothing to invest. But beyond saving and investing, the deeper question is, what is enough? For the other 4 types of wealth, the more the better. But for money, there is such a thing as enough. Of course, psychology makes this difficult. Humans always feel money is never enough. Yet in reality, those who chase money endlessly at the cost of the other types of wealth rarely live happy lives. The moment you decide you have enough, you will feel much happier. Finally, let's go over a few of Bloom's suggestions on generating income. Income is the byproduct of the value you create. High earners typically generate more value for society than what they personally earn. So the real question is not where do I make money, but what value can I create? One simple trick. Observe your boss. What are the things they hate doing but must do? If you can handle those tasks well, you've created value. It may not be your genius zone. It may be a danger zone task you dislike but do well. But as a starting point in your career, it's a reasonable way to earn. But long-term, you'll need meta skills. Sales. The ability to persuade others to buy, hire, join, or invest. This is the pinnacle skill. Storytelling. The backbone of sales. Transforming data into compelling narratives. In medicine, law, finance, or anywhere else, storytelling becomes your edge. Writing. Clear writing reflects clear thinking, and helps others think clearly too. Design and tech fluency. In the AI era, you need taste, an understanding of human preferences, and the ability to leverage AI tools for efficiency, design, data analysis, and optimization. Ironically, these most valuable meta skills are exactly what schools don't teach. Physical wealth is an end in itself. Financial wealth, however, is merely a tool for achieving the other forms of wealth. The best investment is always investing in yourself. Especially when young. Whether it's learning, fitness, meaningful activities, healthy food, mental health, or better sleep, it's always worth the expense. Bloom shares an example from his first job. He could have shared an apartment with 3 roommates, but instead rented his own place at double the cost. That gave him deep focus and relaxation space, which accelerated his career growth and paid off within a year. When used as a tool, money is incredibly useful. The wisdom of life lies in distinguishing what is a tool and what is an end. That's it for today's content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.